Welcome to Inferior Gaming, where we can't beat a Malacca game. I'm Alan.
I'm Caitlin, and I don't even know what you're talking about. A what game?
Malacca. That is the thing that they say in Assassin's Creed Odyssey over and over instead of fuck.
Oh. Malacca.
Malacca. You really are drunk. Now you're just spouting nonsense.
No, it's a Greek swear word. It's Malacca.
Malacca. Malacca. Malacca.
Malacca. That's it. You got it.
I didn't realize we were cursing in Greek today. I prepared a little bit for this episode because we love springing, lore, in-depth lore games, discussions on each other.
100 something hours.
Notice.
Yeah.
Which I did. I did hundreds of hours in this game.
Yeah.
8 years ago.
I know. Me too. I haven't played it since then.
Oh, okay. So. Great. This is going to be a great episode, and I'm so glad that we're here together for it.
I have lots of thoughts. This is going to be fine. Don't worry about it. So, all right. What have you been playing?
So I'm still working away at 3 houses. I've got like 4 chapters left.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I have all the answers, I'm just going to look up videos on YouTube about how the story goes if you play the other routes.
What if you look up the videos and the link is like already purple? And you'd be like, oh no, I already did this and I don't remember. Like, does that bother you?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I would have done it in 2020.
Okay.
And I wouldn't have done it in 2020 because I genuinely thought I was going to play all 3 routes. But then after 2.5, I was like, oh God, I'm done with this.
Okay. That kind of stuff bothers me. Sometimes I'll go and I'll be like, I wonder about this fact. And then it's like, you've already looked this up. And I'll be like, oh, fuck, I am getting old. I can't remember things.
Oh, no, that's my whole life, man. Also, I don't know if having MS actually affects my memory, but I blame it,
Sure.
Whenever I can't remember something I should, I'm like, I have lesions on my brain. Give me a break here.
Chronic disease.
Exactly.
So, there should be some upside to it. Yeah. I get to blame it for problems.
I get to blame it for problems, and I'm never asked questions when I call in sick to work.
Yeah, there you go.
The upsides of a very serious disease.
So if there's 4 chapters, is that like the back half, the back
yes,
third?
I'm after the time skip, and like there's I think 12 chapters before the time skip, and I don't know the exact number after, but it's 10-ish. Probably maybe 8, I don't know, something like that afterwards. Okay. And each chapter represents a month of time.
Oh, okay.
And the time skip is 5 years. Thought it was 10. It's really weird that you can romance that kid.
Yeah. It's like medieval times, right? It's not like 18 to vote situation. It's like,
it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy, yeah. Alan. I can hold it to whatever standard I want.
I guess, but it's kind of like, like medieval settings. I'm like, if somebody's like, why, you're 18 years old, why don't you have 3 kids by now? I'm like, yeah, I kind of get that. I understand what they're saying.
I did forget that, well, I don't know. Well, I guess, because I thought if there's a time skip, then me, the main character, must have been aging also. But that's probably not the case. So I guess now all the people who were my students, now we're all just similarly aged adults because they did age the 5 years, but I don't think the main character did.
Oh. This makes me think of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's probably nothing like that, where there was the 5 years.
Unless it was just like one person who was snapped.
Right, yeah.
But no, it's more that the main character has like a goddess living inside of her. This is not spoilers. It's the first thing that happens in the game. You meet the goddess, basically. And it's so she's got some weird shit going on.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's a fantasy. Like you said, it's a fantasy universe. So.
Yeah. So now I'm basically trying to make sure that everyone's supports, which is basically the social links, are where I want them to be, and that people end up with who I want them to end up with, instead of like last time where everything was a mess, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I know you started playing another game on PC at the worst possible time that you could have picked to do this,
yes,
which is super interesting.
I have, ever since last season when we talked about it, I've been thinking to myself, I want to replay Final Fantasy VII. You know, it's been 20 years, more than 25 years probably, since I played it, the original, and I want to do it. So I bought it on Steam, modded it. I mostly just modded like the aesthetics and stuff. I didn't change the gameplay at all because I don't remember any of it. When I played Final Fantasy IX last year, I did change a lot of the battle system and the gameplay to make it a little bit more challenging because I've played the shit out of Final Fantasy IX, and I knew those boss fights like the back of my hand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it did indeed make it a lot more challenging, which was fun. But this one I remember nothing, so I left it as is. Everything just looks a lot better, and I can change the characters' outfits so that they look like other versions of themselves. So I've got Tifa looking like her Advent Children self, which, as I pointed out to you, means that she's wearing her ribbon in honor of Aerith while Aerith is still alive.
Right.
Which is great. I had Cloud as his Kingdom Hearts design. So he had the one black wing and stuff, and he looked pretty cool. But then I have changed him to his remake design.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which I think just sort of fits the game a little bit better.
Yeah.
And Barrett is his remake design. Aerith apparently looks exactly the same in every game she's in, so she does not have options.
Aerith is like I think one of the strongest female Nomura designs. She just like is, I don't know. You can tell a lot about that character just visually, I think. Yeah. She's a real strong, there's no reason to change it, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, she's just a real strong visual design there.
Her dress was slightly different in Kingdom Hearts, but like slightly.
I like that really short jacket she has and then the very feminine, skirt situation that happens below it. And yeah, it's just the long staff, and it's really, really good. Just strong.
Yeah. And where am I in that? I stopped playing it for now just to like finish Three Houses. So I got to, we did the cross-dressing. We got Tifa out of there.
Yeah.
And because I played Remake, this bit of the game is going by so fast. Oh my god. Like, it feels like leaving Midgar should be the equivalent of all of Disc 1, but like Aerith's death is the end of Disc 1. So
yeah.
It's wild.
Spoilers. But
I mean, I was spoiled for that in
I'm
1997.
It's like the biggest spoiler ever.
I feel like everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Midgar always feels like a slog to me when I replay this. I've replayed 7 many, many times. But it's only like 10 hours. It's like, if you're really fast about it, you could do it in 8 probably. So it's not that long. You
should play Remake, then play this. And you'll be like, oh, speeding through Midgar. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's because it's all Midgar in the first game.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's but the thing about it was you downloaded it and got it going, and then Square Enix came out with a new version of the game
immediately after.
Is a disaster.
Yeah, but that's fine. I stopped it from updating. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, because it's very broken from what I have read and seen on YouTube and stuff.
Square Enix was like, you won't have your save files anymore, but they're actually just in a different folder. And
all you got to do is
them
port
over.
them. Right.
But like, a lot of people don't know that. Not everybody likes to go into their game files because you can mess shit up, right?
Yeah.
they're just lying to people. It's so weird. I don't know. Yeah, so I just turned off my internet, opened Steam, and changed it to update when launched.
Mm-hmm.
But then I launched the game through the mod manager, so I don't launch it through Steam.
Yeah.
So I won't have to update it until, well, ever if I want. But apparently the mods do work with it now. They
Good. Yeah.
They sorted that out, but I'm still just gonna wait. I don't want to deal with it. So
it seems real bad. Just on top of there's all kinds of problems, not just the save file problem. So yeah, I would stay away from it. Bad timing. Well, I guess it's really good timing. Like you came in right under the wire on that one.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm using the mod that gives it all voice acting, which is a lot of fun. I like.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Even the NPCs or just
yeah, every single person that you talk to has a voice.
Crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, Cinemods is
wild,
great.
Man. That's like fans on Steam and like that's the thing about PC stuff. I think that to me as a console gamer that you just like the grass is greener over there sometimes where the fans will just do shit that you're like, oh man, amazing.
Wanting to mod Stardew Valley is why I got a gaming PC.
Yeah. That's really funny. You don't need a gaming PC for Stardew Valley.
But you know what I mean? Well, my first one wasn't as robust as my current one. Yeah. And it worked fine. But then I wanted to mod, Dragon Age and things that needed it to be more robust. And then I just got into PC gaming also. Yeah. So now I have a much better one. But
Stardew Valley just had their 10th anniversary
That's part of the news I wanted to talk about in my video game news. Yes, Stardew Valley just had their 10th anniversary. It's been crazy. Concerned Ape was all, there's going to be 2 new romance candidates. And nice. Everyone was like, I want Sandy and the Wizard. Please, Sandy and the Wizard. And then he gave us Sandy and Clint.
Oh, okay.
And let me tell you, jeez. Nobody likes Clint.
No.
And Concerned Ape knows this. He knows how hated Clint is. Like, this is him being a troll.
Is it trolling? Okay.
I do enjoy that. Fun. I love that. He's not an idiot, right? Like, he knows that nobody likes Clint. I wonder how it's going to go. I'm really curious about how his story is going to play out now, because how it is right now, Clint has a crush on another person in town and is kind of borderline stalkerish. That's why nobody likes him.
Oh, okay. What if he stalked you, though?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about how it's going to go.
I'm very susceptible to the you have a stalker story. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, you should... Like, I can recognize, like, when a character is stalking another character, be like, that's bad behavior. But something like, oh, now the movie has gone out of my head. Fatal Attraction or something, or like Swim Fan or something, which are 2 very different movies. But the same kind of idea. I'm just like, yeah, you should just hook up with her. Like, she's really into you. Like, I think there's something wrong with me that I just don't understand how unhealthy it is.
Well, there's a difference between, a fun fictional story that is not based in reality in any way, shape, or form, and reality. Yeah. Right? A lot of people aren't good at telling those 2 things apart, but that's not the problem of the people who enjoy them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not every weird romance needs to be... needs to feel like the real world.
Right, and I agree.
Anyways, that's like a whole different topic.
Yeah. Clint is a little weird looking. I'm looking at his...
Yeah. In the video, Concerned Ape referred to him as doughy, and I really enjoyed that description. It was great.
I can see that, yeah.
It's a great video, though, if you haven't seen it, even if you don't really play Stardew Valley, because what he did was he showed a bunch of the early versions of the game before it was released, and he kind of showed the evolution of his development on it, and he talked about how he had this really cool idea that he spent a lot of time working on, but he just could not make it work, so he had to scrap it all and start again.
Oh, man.
And And yeah, it's really interesting. If you've played Stardew Valley at all, I'm sure you've already watched it. But if for some reason you haven't, it's really good and you should. And if you're interested in like game development at all, I would give it a watch. Just see how it changed and see what stayed the same through his. I think he spent like 5 years working on the game, 6 years maybe. I don't remember.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then he just walked away from it. That's
the opposite.
Oh, okay.
He's been just like literally the opposite. He spent that long, and then it came out, and then he's done a lot of updates to it.
I see what you mean. I thought you were saying because he like worked on something. And he's like, this isn't working out.
No. So he talks about the mines in the game and how they came about, and how originally he wanted them to be procedurally generated. Mm-hmm. And how he spent a lot of time on that, and he shows a couple of the different like environments that he created, and how one of them was really interesting and different than how the game is now. And he spent so much time, but he just couldn't get them to be not buggy, basically.
Yeah.
And so he had to scrap all that and do the mines as they are currently in the game, which is a little random, but all designed and complete. There's no procedural generated.
I don't like procedurally generated stuff, to be honest. Like, I prefer bespoke created environments.
Bespoke.
Bespoke, man.
Sure.
Make it.
The next news is that Pokemon turned 30 this week, actually, that we're recording. And they announced the new game, and one of the starters is a Grumpy Bird. And I love a grumpy bird. I don't ever play a Pokemon game, but I like the art. You know, I like the cute little animals. Mm-hmm. And that being said, I might play Pokemon Pokopia, because it is kind of like Pokemon's answer to Animal Crossing.
Oh, okay. I know nothing about it. That'll be on the Switch, of course, right?
It's only Switch 2.
Right.
Makes sense. I am going to wait to pick it up. I've challenged myself to not buy any video games in March.
Interesting. Weird.
Because I have a lot of video games.
Yeah, that's
and I
fair.
just bought like 2, and I don't need more. And the thing about Pokopia in particular is the only reason to pick it up right away is if you're going to play with friends, and I do not know a single person who owns a Switch 2. So,
okay.
You can do like couch co-op if you have a Switch. If you have friends who have a Switch 1, and one of you has a Switch 2 and the game, you can like invite them over and play like that. But we're adults, so we're never all over at somebody's house to play a video game.
Yeah. Is it like so you say it's like Animal Crossing. Are you a Pokemon who is Animal Crossing, or are you a trainer human?
Okay, so that's a really you've put your that's a good question is what I'm saying here, because you are a Ditto who makes themselves look like a weird creepy human.
Okay. I'm way more interested in this now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're like you have to rebuild this desolate island in order to repopulate it with Pokemon.
Okay.
And yeah, so I actually really want to wait a bit to see what other people do with the game, because I really want to know if I can have an island that is all Psyduck.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I just want and the Psyducks, which actually doesn't make any sense, because as a Ditto, once you like introduce other Pokemon, you can get some of their abilities.
Sure. So it's better to have a variety.
It's better to have all of them, and I am very interested. This is exactly the type of Pokemon game I would play, because it's like just collect the cuteness, and I'm all about collecting the cuteness.
Yeah.
I will keep the mimes off my eye. The Mr. Mimes, obviously.
Yeah. There was a game a long time ago, 20-something years ago, called Viva Pinata. You ever hear of that? Made by Rare for Xbox. Like, Xbox had acquired Rare from Nintendo, and they made this game Viva Pinata, which was like an early cozy game, I guess. I don't think the genre existed in those kind of terms, but what you're saying just reminds me of it, that Viva Pinata like made many different animals who look like pinatas. They're filled with candy, but you like have to attract new animals to your garden It's like a gardening game, and then once they're there, you can like have them, and they're like your buddies, they're your little pets or something. I don't know. And the whole point was just to be like, can I get this cute whatever it is, like a fox or a bear or whatever animal you want to have. And then you just try to make your garden into the like, get rid of that one. I don't like that, the way that one looks. You know, in the end game, you're just trying to like have the things that you like there without them not getting along and stuff like that. I don't know. What you were describing just reminded me of Viva Pinata, and I haven't thought of Viva Pinata in a long time.
The other like news that we can briefly talk about here is that the head of Xbox is retiring, quote unquote. I don't know if he was let go.
Yeah, Phil Spencer, who's been there, I think, since the jump. Not as the CEO, but like since the beginning, he was an Xbox guy.
If you want to kind of humanize the guy in your eyes, I recommend a video that I didn't look up her name because I didn't think I'd bring it up. The video from the person that I mentioned during our creators episode, Laura somebody or other.
Oh yeah, who worked at Xbox? Yeah.
Yeah. And she talks about a lot of her,
I watched that too.
Yeah, her professional relationship with him and what it was like working in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good video just to like humanize the guy. But he's being replaced by somebody who's been the head of AI at other companies and like an AI person, basically.
They're the head of, I think they're
of Microsoft's AI.
In Microsoft. Yeah. Not just at other places, but at Microsoft.
So at Microsoft, yeah. So that's a great news for gaming.
Yeah, it's kind of the end of Xbox is what it feels like. Yeah, Phil Spencer. I mean, I'm an Xbox guy because I've had the Xbox since the original and all the way up until now, and I had their magazine like as soon as that came out, and I signed up for Xbox Live, and I never let my subscription lapse, and I have Game Pass, so like I'm deep in Xbox. I know Phil Spencer from like, you know, like reading articles in Xbox Magazine where he was in them, and like he did the weekly YouTube thing every week, or there was like a video that was only on the Xbox streaming that he would do every week and talking about these are the upcoming games and these are the new games and these are the deals. So like for him to leave, he seems to me like a kind of guy, I don't want to like romanticize his role. He's like a businessman, you know, but he does seem like the kind of guy who was like actually into the product and like knew about games in themselves and didn't see them as like a means to an end, and fought hard against some people who did try to like fuck up I mean, they've made some stupid moves, but there were people who were like, you know, we're going to change Xbox from a gaming machine into an entertainment machine. And he really fought back against that stuff, you know, and that was part of him becoming the CEO of Xbox, was bringing it back to a gaming console. So to see him go, I think it portends poorly for Xbox as a hardware brand, I would say, you know.
Yeah, I don't think Xbox cares about that anymore, but it's interesting when you lose the people who started it. You know what I mean? Like the old guard, as it were.
Yeah.
Not that I think we should hold on to the old guard for nostalgia's sake or whatever, but like we're not letting them go because he was behind or, you know, he wasn't keeping up or anything, although I'm sure that's how Microsoft sees it, but I don't know. It's a weird time.
Oh yeah, I think they're looking at the price of hardware. I mean, I have no insight into this, so this is just
hardware's going to be impossible the next couple of years, but like
because of AI, and then they're looking at AI and they're like, hey, you know, like you're the AI person, so you're obviously a super genius who understands the future. Fix this stupid Xbox thing, which costs us a shitload of money and doesn't give us the kind of ROI we want compared to the AI division. Like we're, you know, like AI makes all kinds of money, right?
Well,
by the way, it does not. It does not at all. But the promise, quote unquote, is supposed to be there the way that the early days of the internet and everything. It feels like that shit all over again, honestly, of like, just get a .com, you'll make all kinds of money.
Not thinking that you would also need an idea.
Like a product. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I was so eager to get into the weird news that's been happening that I skipped over what you've been playing. My apologies. What have you been playing, Alan?
Well, I beat Finding Paradise, which I think I talked about starting last time, which is a pretty short visual novel that looks like it was made in RPG Maker. I'm not saying that to be like shitting on it or something. It looks good, in that style. I really like how the story ended. I like that the entire thing is very, like, you don't have choices about what happens, I guess, is what it boils down to, that I like about it. So you can't affect the ending. You can't, like, make choices that lead to different endings.
I feel like every other visual novel we've talked about has been like, how many endings are there? What
Right.
How do you get to this? Blah, 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 blah. Although that's not true, because the last one I played was Detective Instinct, and that one just has the one ending. But
And for a detective game, I feel like it kind of has to be like there's one, murderer.
There's one murderer. Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be like Clue, or something.
Yeah.
That would be weird. Yeah, Finding Paradise is I didn't know this when I played it, is the middle chapter in a trilogy. I won't talk about the story to spoil it for anybody, but I liked it. It's very serious and heavy because it's about dying, but at the same time, there's a lot of jokes and lightness in the characters, and a lot of like video game jokes and anime jokes it's cute, that were fun, that had me laughing. And I got to the end and I cried. I really, really like how it ended and the message that it had about like escapism and fantasy and the value of that in a person's life, but also the things that are really important and bring meaning to your life at the same time, and the kind of balancing act around that, and the price that is paid for living a meaningful life. It was good. It's really good.
I just looked it up. It's really cute looking. I like the art a lot.
It's great. Yeah.
I've been wanting to play more pixel art games this year, so
I picked that up because it was very, very cheap. It was like on sale on Xbox, and I read the premise and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it was so short. I was like, I'll just knock it out. But there's hardly any gameplay, to be honest. And like the gameplay is more jokey. I guess at the end, when you're doing the end stuff, there were like times that I failed and I had to do it over. But yeah.
If you're going into a visual novel expecting the deepest of gameplays, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I will say I don't know much about visual novels as a game genre. I played that 1000 Times Resist, which used space more as a, like the actual gameplay space as a storytelling mode, and not a lot of like gameplay per se. And this was even less than that. There was very light gameplay things that were like a slider puzzle at the end of each level, but not difficult in any way or challenging, because that's not like, it's about, like you said, the narrative. So
you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, I beat it. It was good. I am on the final boss of Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is a beat 'em up. I've talked about how they rebalanced it, and so now it's like playable by scrubs, and so this scrub has almost beaten it, and that is a lot of fun. I really enjoy that. I got the Silver Surfer, who is like one of my favorite all-time Marvel characters, so it's a lot of fun to beat up people, or it's not people, beat up insects that are the size of people with the Silver Surfer. In my canon, Silver Surfer and Black Panther are best friends and are saving the galaxy together. That is what is happening.
Silver Surfer was a bad guy?
He starts out as a bad guy for sure, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
I know nothing.
He is the Herald of Galactus, the Eater of Worlds. And then he gets to Earth and he's like, these Earthlings ain't so bad. I'm gonna betray my master. And his master's like, then you are sentenced to live on Earth forever. And he's like, well, fuck. I didn't know that was gonna happen to me. And that is the Silver Surfer story.
Oh.
That's a really good beat 'em up though. You know, it looks old because that is what that developer does. Yeah. But it is it has like all of the gameplay that you would want in a beat 'em up. All the convenience of like now with the retro aesthetic is what they're going for. I think they're coming out with another game that I will also get right away based on Scott Pilgrim.
Interesting.
I love the Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up game, and this is going to be like a spiritual sequel to it. And that comes out like in a week or two, I think. Then another game that I've been playing is another visual novel.
Whoa.
That is
when we started this, I thought I was the visual novel person, but you've gone deep.
It's called Rue Valley. This was like, I think there was just a sale on these kind of games on Xbox, and I was like, I'll pick up that one. I'll pick up that one. And this one is like a time loop game, which I have played other time loop games, and so pretty comfortable with this one. I think I'm getting pretty close to the end. It has a really interesting gameplay mechanic. So like the way that the story is being told, your character is very mentally ill. Like, and you kind of like the first thing that you do before you start the game is kind of design their mental illness. And so it's almost like the opposite of when you are playing a role-playing game. This is a role-playing game for sure.
Right.
It's like you get your role-playing game points at the beginning of the game, right? And you build out your character. You'd be like, you're going to be a wizard or a rogue or whatever. And you do that by allocating points to different, categories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this game, you start out and it shows like your mental balance and all of so you have a scale like 1 to 10. And all of your attributes, I think there's 3 different categories basically. And they're all at a 5, which means you're healthy. And so you're neither too worried nor too detached, let's say. You're not like numb and you're not like super anxious, right? You're in the middle. You're balanced. Well, when you allocate points, you have to decide you're going to go this way or that way on the scale. You're going to go near 1 or 10. You're going to go towards one of the extremes. And you have enough points that you're going to have some serious problems starting out the game. So you're going to be like really unbalanced in at least one of the categories. And so when you start, you wake up in the beginning of the time loop. This is a time loop game, so talking about the beginning is just like, this is going to happen a million times to you. You're in a therapist's office and you're like in the middle you're actually at the end of therapy. Like the alarm goes off and the therapist is like, and that brings an end to our therapy session. And this is where you restart the time loop every time. And basically, like, it shows you a bunch of dialogue options, and you can't choose any of them because they're locked away because of your poor mental health. And like, so the dialogue options that you have access to, like in the case of the guy that I built, he was very paranoid and very like self-loathing. And so his answers to the therapist were things like, I don't deserve help, or, things like that. But you could see grayed out, like where you couldn't choose them, options that were like, I really want to talk about this, or I thank you so much for helping me, or blah, 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 blah. And you just can't touch that stuff because of your mental illness, which I think is a really fascinating way to depict mental illness, to have a kind of meta awareness of what would be possible if you don't have your condition. And then also a way to show role-playing dynamics in a video game, right? Because you always start out in a role-playing game as like a level 1 and you are limited, but that's usually depicted as a escalating power fantasy. And
Yeah.
instead this like starts out in a kind of retrograde position moving towards normalcy, which is like fascinating to me. It's like a really cool way to use role-playing game mechanics, I guess is what I'm saying.
I looked it up while you were talking. The art style does look interesting. I can't.
It kind of looks like a comic book.
Yeah.
And they
I th-
use comic book narration rectangles. There is a narrator to the whole thing. There's not a lot of voice acting. The narrator is not voiced at all. And it seems like an internal voice to you, but I'm not totally sure about that.
Hmm.
But you'll like kind of talk to the narrator a lot of times in dialogue
Interesting.
boxes. I have to sit really close to the TV on the console because it's
The
not
text is slow.
spoken and the
Yeah.
text is so small.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to read from a distance.
I Everything that I just like very quickly Googled said the game was inspired by Disco Elysium, which
I've never
is
played that.
I haven't either, but I own it. Well, my sister owns it, and I have kind of wanted to because
Me too.
it's like an RPG game, but without any fighting. It's
Yeah, this
it's
doesn't
all
have
like
fighting either,
yeah, it's all the social stats and stuff.
right?
But I'm actually just really turned off by the look of the main character.
In Disco Elysium.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he starts off kind of, really at the bottom of his own misery, I guess, kind of, I think. I think
Hmm.
he wakes up like hungover and I'm just not necessarily interested in playing a man at the
At
down
his
on his
lowest
luck.
point. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
but
kind of similar.
everything about it looks good and interesting,
I
and
think
I don't know.
the thing that I like about this is that it has really good moments, and maybe this happens in Disco Elysium, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
Um
either.
of I and this just kind of resonates with me in my own life, and it's such a like small thing, but there'll be stuff like you'll see like a flower growing up in a sidewalk or something like that, and you can interact with it. Like you can, highlight different things. You can't interact with everything in the environment, but some things you can. And you like interact with a flower and then you just kind of meditate on it. And through the dialogue choices, you end up getting what in the game is called inspiration. And then this is like gives you agency to kind of like when you do get those dialogue choices that you don't have access to, you can like break through
Mm,
your mental illness and it starts to like augment your stats. And so there's just
that's interesting. Yeah.
yeah. And then you have like these dreams or you'll be going through the the cycle of, the time loop, which is like 47 minutes long. And then you'll go back to the therapist's office and the therapist is like, well, that's the end of our session. It'd be like, wait, one more thing. And you kind of talk through the thing with the therapist that you've been going through. Not like the time you can tell him you're in a time loop and that goes really poorly. But you like talk to him about like, I was thinking this and I think I'm kind of self-sabotaging in this way. And then once you do that, it like changes your stats to become
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
more healthy and it's like leveling up. So I think that stuff is like really interesting. He can also give you medication, which does the same thing of like temporarily allowing you to hop over some of the like crippling social anxiety and things like that. So it's just like a fascinating way to depict mental illness, I think, that
Yeah.
is fun.
It also sounds like a good way to come at gameplay from a different perspective.
Yeah.
I enjoy innovative gameplay, even if the story or the design or something of a game isn't for me. That doesn't
Mhm.
mean that I don't appreciate innovative gameplay, which is what Disco Elysium really is. Also,
I think out of between 1000 Times Resist, Finding Paradise, and this one, gameplay wise, is way more interesting in those role-playing stat kind of situations. It's way more interesting to try and like make my own goals and be like, I want to figure this thing out or work around this or blah 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 blah. It's more rewarding, I guess, than just like I could just read a book. Like I like reading books, and that is what 1000 Times Resist and Finding Paradise were. They were just like a book that was in a video game format. This is not like that.
Right.
And then the only other thing that I played, I'm trying to get my daughter, this is a weird thing maybe to try and get my daughter into, but I thought she would like it, and I bought it when it was on a very deep discount. But she's the kind of like, if I play something, then she'll watch me play it, and then she will want to play it.
Right.
And so I got Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which she's a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. And that game is pretty decent from everything that I've heard. I played through the first level when it first came out in a demo, and I was like, this is fine, but not something I'm super interested in. But so I played through the first level again, and she watched me play it, and she was I could tell she's a little bit hooked into it, because she was like doing the thing that she always does when she watches me and be like, why are you doing that? Do this
Nice.
What are you doing? Why are you so bad at the game? And it has fun, like Mass Effect style dialogue choices that are really, really good for the characters. So like a really serious thing will be happening, and then you can just choose to like non sequitur be like, let me tell you a joke. A horse, a woman, and an alien walk into a bar, blah, 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 blah. It's just like ruin the conversation, basically, in a way that I think that's a lot of fun and very like in keeping with the characters. It's based on the comic books and not the movies so much. But if you only know the movies, you would totally understand everything that's happening. But the gameplay's fine. The build of it that I was using in the Xbox is extremely unstable. Like it crashed 3 or 4 times playing the game, which is pretty
what
annoying.
you want from a game.
Yeah, it's very annoying. That is all the stuff that I've been playing, though. We've been off for like a couple of weeks. You can't tell if week to week.
Yeah.
We've had a little bit of extra time, so
I mean,
more stuff.
I don't feel like I've had extra time, but
Yeah, me neither. I mean, it never feels that way. I want to beat Rue Valley and then get back into Persona. Like I'm in a good energy place to get back to Persona and beat the next boss is kind of where I'm feeling at now.
Yeah,
so.
Every time you don't bring up Persona 5, I'm like,
I know.
But I've also let games that I was playing drop that you were very excited that I was playing. So I can't be a hypocrite.
It's not dropping for me. It feels, I don't know. It feels like I don't know. I had a big catharsis beating the guy, and then they were like, okay, now a whole new story. Like it lost a little bit of steam.
Yeah, that's fair.
And spending some time away, I feel like I'm excited to get back to it instead of it grinding to the point where it hooks me again, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, should we get into what you actually want to talk about this week?
Well, this is a game where I never had to grind my way back into being hooked. I feel like it was just, for more than a year of my life, this game was just kind of gaming crack cocaine.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it too.
Mm-hmm. That good AAA goodness, Ubisoft goodness of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I think is the only Assassin's Creed game we have both played.
Yes, it's the only Assassin's Creed game I have played.
Yeah.
So
like,
if you've played it, then your statement is true.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of pick your brain about that because I'm super interested in like why you would get into a franchise in the 11th game when you didn't play any of it. So like, does your sister own all of the Assassin's Creed games? And
No, but she did own that one. I didn't buy it so it was easy for me to just pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
She has probably played the. I just said no when you asked me that. I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen them in our house, so if she does, she got rid of them. But like
they're like under a bed. They're like in a shameful. I can't let Caitlin see this.
No. Megan has like a whole shelf of Otome games, and so if there was anything to be ashamed of, that's what it would be.
Those are on a place of honor, actually.
Yeah. She does keep them in her bedroom so that when our family comes over, they don't ask questions.
They don't ask questions.
But they're on like display. Yeah. They're not like hidden. She just, doesn't have to explain them to our mom.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, they're super popular games. I think they're kind of the poster child for AAA vanilla, like blah, kind of a
like even
kind
before
of a game.
I played them, I knew what Assassin's Creed was. Like I had friends who played, which is rare for me to have friends who were like into something nerdy that I didn't get them into.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because like all my friends from high school, I got them into anime, or I got them in one in particular. I was like, you're going to play Final Fantasy and you're going to like it, And I'm pretty sure she did like it.
This is the story of Renoa and her dog, and you will play the whole thing. Yeah.
Her dog named Squall. Yeah.
If only she could shoot him off of her wrist. That would be... Somebody's got to do that mod.
There's got to be a mod, right? Yeah. But this was one of the games where a friend of mine had played it and talked to me about it. Or the first three, the first trilogy.
Okay.
So I was aware of the... I knew what it was. I knew the general, like, modern day... in the head of the assassin, thing. But I didn't know any of the specifics. I didn't know what it was like. And for some reason, I just thought it wasn't my type of game. That was probably when I was JRPG only, honestly. That's what it was.
Sure. This game is like way closer to like Horizon Zero Dawn or something like that. So I was just curious if you had played that before this.
So here's what it was. When you said... when you brought up that this is what we were going to talk about, you said, like, how did you even get into this if this is the only one you played?
Right.
And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, it's definitely because of my friend / coworker who got me into Dragon Age.
Okay.
And so then I looked up some dates, and Dragon Age Inquisition came out at the end of 2014. Witcher 3 came out in 2015. Horizon Zero Dawn came out in 2017. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out in 2018.
Okay.
So it was probably just the next big open world fantasy game, and I was like, yeah, I love an open world fantasy game.
Yeah. And this open world is huge.
Yeah. And my friend was playing
Greece.
it. My friend Allison is her name. She was playing it. And so I was like, oh, okay, great. Sounds good. And like she would have told me that I didn't have to play the earlier games. I could just go in and it would make total sense.
Yeah, and it's set in like the Percy Jackson universe, so you know a lot about it. And
yes, I know Greek mythology. So
sorry. So yeah, she's right about that.
Jokes.
Yeah, I know callbacks to other season.
And I was thinking about it when I was coming up with these dates because I was like, something had to have come out in 2016. I was like, oh, that's probably when I played Mass Effect.
Sure. Yeah. So you did shooters, and then you were like, now I'm on the action games.
My friend, Allison, like I said, she had to really talk me into playing Mass Effect because I hate shooters.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm bad at them, and I have no desire to shoot things. So she really had to talk me into it and convince me that that I would like it for the BioWare reasons, not for the shooting reasons.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think shooter fans like Mass Effect because of the shooter reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not good shooting. Yeah, so she's right about this in terms of Assassin's Creed because Kassandra's story is the story that is the most removed historically from all of the, like, it's the earliest story we've ever had in Assassin's Creed. So she is the first protagonist chronologically, I guess is what I mean.
Right. I have a question.
Yeah.
You can play as Alexios.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Is it all just exactly the same? But
The
you're
dialogue is
Alexios?
exactly the same. It is.
And so then Kassandra is the one who's evil?
Yeah, she's the Deimos, who is the champion of the cult of
Of the
Cosmos.
cultists. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can confront her and kill her, or you can reconcile your
Right.
sibling in the game
But
and make peace.
But Ubisoft has said that Kassandra is the canon protagonist of the game.
So, according to the writers and directors, Jonathan Dumont and Scott Phillips, the original concept was that Kassandra was the protagonist. Like, that is how they built
Right.
the story, and that her twin brother, Alexios, would be the antagonist for the main part of, like the not DLC part of the game.
Right.
And then the executives were like, but she's a girl. And like,
Yeah.
so it was like, okay. But they felt, so they, I don't know. And it's kind of a Mass Effect situation. The actress and motion capture person who is the same person, I can't remember her name. That's bad of me. I should look that up. Is like amazing. She's so good, and she gives the character so much vibrancy and life, and she's just way better than Alexios.
Okay.
And I think Alexios is like a pretty good antagonist. The way that the actor plays him, a much better antagonist than he is protagonist. But yes, you can be either gender, and that is true for several Assassin's Creed games. Your protagonist, there are ways to play as a man or a woman in a lot of the games. Not all of them, but in a lot of them.
Interesting. I was watching that video that you sent me, and it was like it like unlocked all these memories, and it was very strange to be like, right, yes, the plague. And
Oh yeah.
because previous to watching the sum up video that you sent, the things that I remembered most was one time killing somebody from a roof and then just hiding up there when the town came to kill me. Or like
That's Assassin's Creed. Yep.
Yeah, and then I think either eventually they forgot about me, or I reloaded and was like, let's just do that better. Let's we can hide a bit better for that one. And then one time, and this was during like the Olympic section of the game, I like lured, I'm pretty sure it was one of the cultists, down an alley so that we were alone, and killed him there, and still everybody knew and was mad at me. And I was like, but
right. Yeah.
I lured.
That will usually happen whether you're seen or not.
Yeah,
If it's like a major, one of the major people. But
then I got all the cultists, and I remember when because there was that screen showing all their, it would unmask them when you found out who they were,
right.
And then it would list them as deceased once you got them, and I did them all, and I was like, fuck yeah.
It feels really good. Yeah, that screen is so smart to have it's like the red yarn kind of screen, of all the connections. Yeah. And then you have the story's kind of over when you unmask the central figure, because it's a big twist in the story. You find out what's going on. And it was a big twist in the lore also, because there's this antagonism throughout the entire series between the two factions of the assassins and the Templars. And then they have different names the further back you go in history. This cult group is, according to the canon, not associated with the group that becomes the Templars officially, kind of because of the twist that happens at the final reveal. But you don't have to kill that last person. But
I'm pretty sure.
Do you remember if you killed them? Yeah,
I don't remember, but I think I did, because I wanted.
You wanted them all dead. Yeah,
I wanted it to be complete. It wasn't even about them being dead. I wanted my.
Yeah,
I think I posted it on Instagram. I could probably go back and check.
I did it.
Yeah.
Look at all the people I murdered.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, I think. These games are like I said, they're the AAA poster child of kind of vanilla blah. But at the same time, like, it's just good. Like, it's just satisfying. There's like a good loop that moves from one thing into another to another to
Yeah.
another and just keeps you going.
Yeah, I remember the game being a lot, but it never felt like a lot.
Yeah, that's a good description.
And it was also, it was just one of those, I don't know how to describe. It felt like Horizon Zero Dawn and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I swear another game that I played around the same time, but I don't remember. I can't think of anything else that would have done this. All had extremely similar gameplay in certain sections where there was like a base of bad people that you had to go in and just kill everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then take it over for other people, basically. And you would sort of creep up, and I just spent hours hiding in grass collecting dead bodies beside me, you know?
Yeah.
And it in both of those games, and I don't know, it just felt like that's what video games were at that time, hiding in grass and collecting dead bodies beside you. I probably did that in Uncharted too.
Oh yeah, Uncharted is a lot like this with its cover shooter. The stealth parts of that where you like choke people out, or
yeah,
I can't remember if you knife people in Uncharted.
I don't remember either. I just remember a lot of hiding in grass and having a pile of dead bodies beside
Pull a guy down, yeah, you can play this game, I think, non-lethally. I think that's true. If you want to. I don't know why you would, though.
You mean like don't kill a single cultist? It was
No,
so satisfying though.
I don't know. That's not
They
true.
tore your
But
family apart.
you can like drug people or knock them out instead of, and just only kill the cultist, in other words. But
I see.
I don't play that way. I play as a mass murderer.
Yeah. I don't enjoy... You know how sometimes in games they're like, you can sneak through this section or you can kill everyone. And there's nothing I hate more than fucking sneaking through and then like one person sees you and then you have to kill everyone. I don't know.
I like to kill them as I go. You know, like I
Yeah.
do kill everyone, but I'm sneaky about it, which this game is really good at. You'll have like a fort in the middle of nowhere. Did those people do anything to me? No, but I killed every single one of them, you know, like, and none of them ever raised an alarm about it, which was like, that was what I did in that game for hundreds of hours, literally.
Nice. Just kill people.
Yeah, she killed thousands of people, like thousands of people.
Yeah.
It's
It
wild.
was pretty crazy. It was crazy how much I didn't remember of the game and then how it all came back to me. Like when you mentioned the DLC, I would have sworn I did not play the DLC, but I absolutely did.
Oh, I knew you did, because we talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because she had the kid, and I was like, oh, I
Right.
thought that was the main game. I
No.
remember that being DLC. So
Yeah.
it really made me want to play the game again, and I don't know if I can. Did we own it physically? Digitally? I'd have to talk to my sister about this.
I think you could buy the game eventually where it just had like everything.
Yeah, but we didn't. We just bought it as it came out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what I mean is you could buy it where it was like you already pre-own all the DLC. It's just not out yet. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. I
Like the deluxe edition or whatever.
don't think that happened.
I bought it very, very cheap, which is one of the things that I really like about Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft. And I think really the only advantage to AAA games is that you'll have this like huge production come out, and then a couple of years later, I don't think I played this until like 2022 or something. It was like $10 for the game that had everything in it, you know, and that's when I bought it. So
Alan, it's on sale for like $15 on Steam.
it's always on sale. It's super, super cheap. It's always super cheap because
But it's
like,
March 1st, and I'm not buying video
you can't
games
buy
in
videos.
March.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You've
That's
already
fine.
played this game and beaten it.
And
so
it'll be on sale again, and I'm not going to play it
it'll
right
always
now.
be on sale.
Yeah.
It'll probably be on sale cheaper than that. That sounds like a lot.
And as far as
to
I
be
know,
honest.
we still have it. I haven't even looked. So
I don't think this is one of those games that's locked behind console upgrades. You like if you had the PS4, you can just play it on PS5. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, so I don't know.
But
I'll have to look into it.
This game is kind of a sequel. So there's like a reorganization of the game that happened prior to this game. So Assassin's Creed Origins came out before this, which was set in ancient Egypt, but Egypt at the time of like Cleopatra, Caesar, Margaret, like
So
the
late ancient Egypt.
yeah, like right before Jesus is born, like
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, so not
Allegedly.
allegedly, yeah, when that one guy was born. So this is like probably like right at the beginning of the Roman Empire, kind of.
Yeah.
But not like the ancient, like the pyramids are being built or something like that.
Right.
Because that would be before Odyssey. So the reason they call it Origins is because they explained how the actual Assassin's Creed that you say in every Assassin's Creed game at some point when you join the organization was originally formed. So that is officially the first time the Assassin's Creed was said as an
Gotcha.
and the organization itself forms. I mean, there's proto versions of it before this, but it is the thing that like carries on into the future, happens in that game. And the kind of signature weapon of the assassins is this like spring loaded or mechanical knife thing on your wrist that like pops out and kind of like kills the enemy and then pops back in. So you
Fun.
never like have to pull a sword or a knife. You can just kind of kill somebody and people are like, what happened to that guy? He just fell down. That's weird. And that was like from this Persian culture came that weapon, and from this Egyptian culture came this creed, and the two of them flowed together in Origins to create the assassins. And that's the story that happens in that game. And that game had for the first time role-playing mechanics where you had an experience level. You had like you were level 1, level 2. That was the first time that ever happened. And the enemies also had levels. Prior to that, it's just an action game. Like if you stab someone, they die. It doesn't matter. It's not like he's a level 50 guy and you're a level 2. You can't. It's kind of weird when that happens in Odyssey. Like you'll shoot a guy with an arrow in the head and he hardly takes any damage.
Yep.
Because
But
he's like way higher level than you.
It doesn't bother me though, because that's true of every game.
Yeah, it didn't bother me either. But for some of the fans of the series, it really bothered them because it was such a massive change in gameplay.
Yeah, that's fair.
But they wanted it to have an open world, but they didn't want you. The problem was if you go anywhere in the open world, you're going to like spoil stuff. So they needed to like create a progression. And the way that they did that was by having leveled enemies. So if you try to walk into the end game, you're going to get pushed back out, because you can't beat anybody.
Yeah, that's how open worlds. That's gameplay right there.
Pretty much, right? So they didn't really innovate that, but so that game, to be honest, is pretty rough. My experience with it, I didn't finish it.
I was told not to play it. I
didn't care for it so much. It's cool to like, it's ancient Egypt, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's not, I don't know. It didn't have the same gameplay flow. You can be a boy or a girl in that one too. But I don't know, the acting is not as great and whatnot. And yeah, so like in Origins, I feel like they took all of the concepts because they were just trying that stuff out for the first time. And there was a lot of rough edges to it, to be honest. And they just smoothed that stuff out and made a way more interesting iteration on those mechanics and everything in Odyssey. And then they did the thing that I found more interesting and had a lot more of the lore around the Isu, who are the aliens who have come to Earth, and you find out a lot more about that stuff. And there were like mythological monsters and like quote unquote magic in the world, and explaining like how all of that stuff is possible in a world where there's kind of like rational explanations for everything, and kind of maintaining the tension of that. And Greece is just like an even cooler setting than Egypt at this time period that they chose. So it's like the Peloponnesian War, Sparta versus Athens, and you've got, hidden in caves here and there, you got like Medusa and the Cyclops and the Minotaur, and Atlantis is out there. And so it's just, I don't know. It's just like, I'm way more into that shit than I am.
Yeah. It was I do recall playing it for the first time because I didn't know any of the like Assassin's Creed lore.
Mhm.
But you do start off with the modern day people.
Right.
But then I think I forgot about them, because
Yeah.
it's pretty immersive when you're playing as Cassandra. And not like if somebody had asked me, I wouldn't be like, "Who?" I'd be like, "Oh, right, that I just wasn't thinking about it." But I do recall, as you're going through the story and stuff, you're just like, "Wait, aliens?" I
Mhm.
remember being like, "What is happening?" And then being like, "Oh, right, the modern day people." And it was just it felt so disconnected from the main story to me,
Yeah.
but it probably doesn't, I guess, if you're into the lore.
I think there's way more of that stuff in this game than in a lot of games. And
Okay.
I think they try to construct the game so that you don't have to be a fan of the series and you can just get into it.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with that. I love weird lore like that. It's so good.
Yeah.
I just sometimes when you're just playing Cassandra's personal story and the war and everything, I just like it slipped my mind that there was all this other shit going on.
Yeah, it's just like a person in a VR headset
Yeah.
somewhere playing this whole thing in a weird way. Yeah, I think they design it in a way where, yeah, you closely associate with the historical character and not the modern day one. And then that historical character tends to not understand, when alien shit comes up, they're like, "What?" And then
Yeah.
or they'll just chalk it up to, "Oh yeah, there's gods," because they
Right.
believe in gods. And so I think it's easy for a casual or new fan to just like whatever, because the character is kind of saying whatever. And that's intentional, to the gameplay experience. But for the people who have played like every single game, you can like really dig into that stuff too. And this game, so like for example, in other Assassin's Creed games, usually what happens is your character will become more and more powerful, of course, as you play. And at the end of the game, you will obtain some kind of Isu weapon that will like massively change your character's damage distribution. And so it'll be like, instead of, going up behind somebody and you stab them and they die, you stab them and they like vanish into a puff of smoke. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't have to worry about hiding the bodies and stuff. And it's
Nice.
because you have like an Isu dagger. But in this game, you start with the Isu weapon. And so it was like inverted because you have the the spear of Leonidas,
Right.
um,
Yes.
which was an Isu weapon and is supposed to explain how he was able to, do the stand of 300 against the entire Persian army, even though he lost, but whatever. You have that spear, and that weapon is like what is supposed to make Kassandra so incredibly dangerous at the beginning of the game. And then you just become more powerful. And so that was like an inversion of the usual, gameplay treadmill in these games. And it had like a lot of the games have where you do ship captain stuff, and it had way more of that in this, which makes sense because of the Aegean Sea and being out there, or the Mediterranean, and being out there by the Greek Isles and stuff. And I loved having my ship and seeing some other ship and just like getting into a
Yes.
battle and like,
Yes,
yeah,
that was so much fun.
destroying the other ship.
I loved the ship stuff. Yes.
It's great.
I loved when my crew would start singing.
Yeah.
I loved everything about that. That was so good.
It was the best version of that. That's what I mean. Like, they took everything from the other games and like the previous game, the leveling system, the open world, and they just like made it better. And this is the best version, I think, of the Assassin's Creed to that point. But I don't know, a lot of the fandom really hates this game and thinks it's garbage for all the things that we're saying. So like, I don't know, for people like us, we love it. We love, it's story driven. It's got choices in the dialogue. You can really affect where the story goes. I mentioned how there's like, okay, so at the beginning of the story, there's this thing about the Spartans. This has actually been disproven since this game came out pretty conclusively. But there is this story that was believed for a very long time that Spartans would take babies that were like physically malformed and throw them off of a cliff, and that there might be like a kind of human sacrifice thing going on with that in order to maintain kind of a physical superiority of their group, because they care so much about being warriors and blah blah blah. This turns out not to be true. It's just like a legend that grew up around Spartan warriors. But anyway, it doesn't matter because like there's aliens in this game, so whatever. So we don't really care about historical accuracy too much. But they're gonna throw a baby off the cliff who is your sibling, depending on who you are, and then you try to save them, and you knock the priest off the cliff too, and your sibling, and this gets you killed / thrown out of the community. Like they throw you off the cliff, depending on if you're Kassandra or Alexios, I guess. And then you're just raised by a surrogate parent to be a mercenary. I think they call you Mystios is the Greek word for it at the time. And then you hook up with a ship captain and you start like taking assignments all over the place. And one of the assignments, the first assignments you get, is to kill a Spartan general who turns out to be your father, who threw you off the cliff. And you can like choose to get revenge on him, or you can patch it up and let him live.
I don't remember what I did there.
They make it pretty fucking tempting to throw him off a cliff because he's like standing on a cliff. You get the Spartan kick right before you go and meet him. So they're kind of like really setting you up to kill that guy. I feel 100% sure I killed him.
I genuinely don't remember. I remember what I did with the brother, but I don't remember what I did with the dad.
And then you'll meet your mother later. Mm-hmm. And you meet your sibling, and you can patch things up with your family, but I didn't do that. I think I did with my brother. Everyone.
I didn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought the mom should turn out to be a cultist.
Mm-hmm.
But she does not.
She's not. Yeah.
Thought that would have been a better twist, or a more interesting twist. Maybe not better. But what do I know? I don't write games.
Well, it turns out she's your mom, but your dad's not your dad.
Yes.
Because,
yes.
like, Pythagoras is your dad, which is really weird.
I really enjoyed how many, like, historical figures, though, were in the game, and how sometimes you would just sort of meet somebody standing around and be like, oh, I recognize that name. That's cool.
It'd be like, yeah, I'm Socrates. And you'd be like, oh, shit, it's Socrates. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that a lot. They do that in all the Assassin's Creed games. It's very fun. It's always fun. Yeah. They always do it in that same good way where they're just like
they're just there.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, and there's a lot of real. I mean, I was kind of knocking like, who cares about historical accuracy? But there is actually like a ton of historical accuracy that they put into these games, and there was like a whole mode, and I definitely played it, of the game where there's no combat at all. And you can kind of go around the world like a virtual museum of time travel and just see like...
Yeah. And just see the things that they did.
Yeah. There was like, here's how they dyed cloth, and here's how they gathered honey, and here's how they cut marble. And it was like, this is fucking cool. Like it was really detailed. And like, if you could just be in the world, and if you don't fight anybody, you could just like watch people live their lives. Like they gave cycles to all of the NPCs, and there's thousands of people in this world. Like it's wild how much like polish is in the game, down to like tiny animations that I really appreciated as a player, where you'd be like, running on an uneven surface, and Kassandra will have like one leg a little bit cocked up, and versus the other one, and like so that she is not like clipping through the ground, and it looks natural, and like her ankle is bent the right way, and little stuff like that, like, I don't know, is like hard to get and goes a long way. I think you can like not notice that stuff, but there's like a photo mode in this. I took like a zillion pictures, and the ability to like get her to stand on stuff and her not be floating, 2 inches above the ground was just
That
amazing to
was
me.
that was like 2015 to 2016. So this came just after, but like that was the time of that when people were standing on shit they shouldn't be standing on.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
kind of float like
Clipping
that was
through stuff.
all over games of that in there.
Not to say there's no jank in this game, because there's a ton of jank. Like it will wacky shit happens sometimes.
I mean, what's a game without jank? I love a
It's
good
fun.
game,
Yeah.
like, and I especially love when the developers kind of embrace it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it would be pretty
Yeah.
bad, but this game, I just like the tiny little things like that, where she'll like go around the corner of a wall and she'll kind of like put her hand out and grab the wall.
Yes, yes, yeah,
It's just like, wow, that just feels really human,
yeah. I recall really, really loving Cassandra as a character.
She's so good. She's
Yeah.
like a badass, but also just like a cool person. I don't like that actress, just like really did a
Really
great job.
nailed it, yeah.
Yeah. I've even watched like the behind the scenes stuff of her. Like she looks like she's filming Avatar or something. Like they have that
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah, yeah.
rig on her face and stuff. And yeah,
Everyone loves
she's
motion
great.
capture.
That's the way of the future.
You often get tied up and surrounded by snakes?
How can you joke about this? Thugs broke into my home, dragged me here, tied me up, and surrounded me with these hideous creatures. They must be stopped.
The snakes?
The thugs!
But yeah, there is a continuing story. You mentioned the modern day stuff of Layla, who was so she was introduced for the first time in Origins, the Egyptian one, and she is of Egyptian descent as a character. So she goes through that entire adventure, and she is kind of on the side of the Templars in that game.
Okay, okay.
The Templars go from like being the power behind kings and queens to being the power behind the Christian church to being the Illuminati, and then in the modern day they are like the power behind corporations
Right, yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah.
So they're always the bad guys, and there's a corporation in the future or modern day whatever called Abstergo. They make video games.
Okay.
They're based in Montreal. So they're Ubisoft basically.
And they're the bad guys?
And they're the bad guys.
And
So,
Ubisoft was okay with this?
yeah, they love it. It's like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
cool. Their office looks like Ubisoft. It's like a whole thing. So like Layla worked for Abstergo. I mean, they do other shit besides video games. They like, make military, simulation shit and stuff like that.
I don't know. I was gonna continue on my very long running joke about how I dislike French Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we've ever brought that up on this podcast. So if I said something like I'd be
Out
okay
of
with
context.
bombing Montreal, because that's just like a long running joke. That's only
Across several shows now.
50% based in how I actually feel, which has
Right.
more to do with the policies, not the actual people. But yeah, if we're taking down Montreal, I'm for it. Let's
Right.
get rid of it.
Well, she is an Abstergo employee, and then she so she enters into this thing called the Animus, which is a virtual reality simulation. It's kind of like Avatar, like you lay in a bed and you go to sleep kind of, but then your nervous system experiences, the everything that you do in the game.
Yeah.
And so she experienced all of the stuff that I said that happened in Egypt. And through experiencing that was like, wait, am I a bad guy? Like, am I playing for the wrong team?
Right.
She decides to swap teams and become an assassin. And so, yeah, she leaves the end of the game becoming an assassin and is kind of on the run. And then this game picks up from there. She has like a not good animus, compared to like the corporate one in a cabin somewhere. And then you have the people who are helping you with that because they want to track down these alien artifacts because they are extremely powerful for the modern day, like struggle between these two factions. And basically the backstory of this whole thing is that the human beings are a genetic creation of the Isu that is like, it's kind of like if we took our genome and created chimpanzees out of it, we are the chimpanzees to the Isu. If you see what I'm saying. We're like some kind of devolved version of them that's pretty genetically close, but with enough differences to make us massively inferior to them.
Of course.
Yeah. And then we were their slaves. So they colonized Earth and made us as slaves for them in the very deep past, like 200,000 years ago past. Cool. And then the Isu are not like a monolith politically. Yeah. So there's different factions and some, they don't like each other for all kinds of reasons. And some of them don't like that they had slaves and they want to liberate us. And then other ones are like, I want to actually, these humans are cute. I want to fuck humans. And so they have like human Isu babies. And the assassins are from the bloodline that is like Isu human babies. And every once in a while, you'll get like the bloodlines will recross and you'll get people who have a lot of Isu DNA in them or more than the average human does.
Right. And that's what happened with Kassandra, right?
And that's Kassandra. Yeah. And that's all the protagonists of the entire series.
Oh, okay.
And then the same thing for Layla. She also has a lot of Isu blood in her, and that's what allows her to connect across time so strongly with these different protagonists. It's not just the technology, it's also this Isu thing. And the Isu thing is why Kassandra can like see through the eyes of her pet eagle.
The eagle, yeah, I love the eagle.
Yeah. And a lot of the other assassins can do that same thing with the eagle. The Isu can do it without an eagle. They can just, remote view stuff. No problem. They can move stuff with their mind. They have all kinds of powers.
So in the DLC, you meet like Greek gods.
Yeah.
Were those Isu?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all Isu. And a lot of the Isu have names that we would be like, that's a Greek god. But it's the other way around, in the lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Isu was named Hades, and then we named a Greek god Hades because of the Isu. Is the idea?
Okay, that's
how all of the lore works.
I recall playing some of that DLC, but I don't think I finished it because it came out quite a bit after the game. I think. Mm-hmm.
I really love the Atlantis thing. It's probably one of my favorite games like ever.
Mm.
I can't imagine playing it without playing the game, but maybe you could, but
they don't usually let you download or install DLC without the game.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
You probably cannot just jump to it because you got to like open the gate and that's like part of the actual story.
Was there some stuff where you're in like the underworld in that one?
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes you're in like Elysium or like you're in like there's an ugly place and a pretty place.
Yeah, it's really weird because because Layla is wearing the Animus, or she's in the Animus bed or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Kassandra opens the gate to Atlantis because her dad, Pythagoras, is at Atlantis. It's so ridiculous, but I love this stuff. Yeah, so Pythagoras is there guarding Atlantis because this is too dangerous for humanity. Like, humanity cannot find Atlantis. It's too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been locked away with these very dangerous artifacts that the humans who had them, the radiation, the Isu radiation, warped them into monsters. And so that's Medusa and the Cyclops and the Sphinx and all this stuff. So you kill all those monsters, and then you bring the pieces of the gate back, and it opens the gate. When she goes into the gate, then there's a goddess there named Alethea, who's like the goddess of truth. And she's like, get into this machine from our world, and it will start a virtual reality thing. So she's like, you're doing a virtual reality thing, and then Kassandra does a virtual reality thing to do the going to the underworld and Elysium and all that kind of stuff. So
see, when I'm playing, I don't even think about that. I forget about the modern day people.
You shouldn't think about it.
Yeah.
The point being, there's not like Elysium. It's like a game or a simulation that Kassandra is doing.
Okay. Interesting.
It's a simulation within a simulation. And the point is that, because I don't want to get into it, but there's like a bunch of the Isu died, but they uploaded their consciousness into their version of the internet.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's where those guys are, and she has to interact with them to find out.
So that just seems like they wanted to do the Greek gods in this game as Isu,
100%.
but they didn't want to have them still existing in the world.
Yep.
Makes sense.
And that's a lot of the games, is you'll like because the follow-up to this is the biggest game they ever did, the Viking game. And it's the same thing, like Loki and Odin and all of them are also Isu, aliens.
I never played that one.
Yeah.
What is it good?
I got halfway through it. It is so huge. Parts of it are good. So here's the thing that I really like about this game, and that really works for me as an Assassin's Creed game. I'm talking about Odyssey.
Okay.
Is that because the assassins don't exist, because they don't exist until Origins, which is like 400 years in the future, right? So there's no assassins per se in this entire game.
Right.
You're just a mercenary for hire, and you like have people you care about, and you have like your crew literally of your ship, but that's like, you're like on your own kind of, and you're kind of like setting your own agenda, and you've got your personal story you're trying to figure out. All of that stuff, because you're kind of alone, for me works as an assassin when you compare it to like the other games, because you're on a very like kind of individualistic mission in the previous 10 games. In Valhalla, you're the leader of the like invading Viking group in England. You're like the king of not really, but like you become the king of the Vikings who are invading England. And like, when you go and do shit in that game, you have like a crew of Vikings. It feels very different to me than any other It doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm not like sneaking around and like, going up to the top of a church and then like killing a guy because there's 14 other Vikings going around setting everything on fire, being Vikings. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it feels very, very different. I didn't enjoy that game so much for that reason, and didn't play through the whole thing. So
gotcha.
It's fun if you want a Viking simulator. It's a very good.
I just remember seeing that there was more boat stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And more like singing on the boats and wanting to do that.
Which
is maybe the weirdest reason to play a video game.
I would say you should play Black Flag if you like that, which is what that whole game is. You're like, it's in the Caribbean, and that's the whole thing. There is a lot of boat stuff, but you're the English river system, if that makes any sense. You're not like out in the ocean. You're in England the whole game. So, but yeah, I love the Atlantis thing, and I think it's because I care about the Isu story so much and the science fiction angle of that stuff, and I also love Greek mythology and ancient civilization, and so it's just like a sweet spot for me of all that stuff.
And it was a really good open world, and I love an open world video game.
Super good.
I feel like the messaging or whatever right now is that people are done with open worlds, and I just want everyone to know that I am not. I will never be.
Yeah, they heard people complaining about it with the 3 games, especially with Valhalla. I just think that game was too long. That was the real problem with it.
That's a weird thing to say because Odyssey was so long.
But it was twice as long. Just the story itself just took a lot longer.
That's a lot, yeah.
Because people were like, "We love this. We would do this forever," and they were like, "Cool, we'll do it." And then people were like, "Oh no, not like that." But the game that they came out with after Valhalla, set in ancient Baghdad, is much smaller. It's still open world, but it is maybe 1/3 the size of Odyssey. So it's pretty small. I loved that game. That Mirage is fantastic. It has a really cool story that ties into Valhalla's story in a surprising way. And these games have always, since the very first game, been tied to Islamic culture. And like in this game, it's tied to Persia, right? Because eventually in the DLC, you get this Persian guy, Darius, shows up with his son, in our case, because we played Kassandra. And he has like the weapon, the Assassin's Creed weapon that is like the knife on his wrist that pops out. And he has Isu blood, his kid has Isu blood, and they have like a whole nother cult that they're dealing with that's not your cult. And those people are tracking down all of the people who have Isu blood and killing them because they are the Templars / Illuminati / Abstergo team. And so they're trying to kill the assassin team.
Interesting.
And then eventually you make a baby with that dude. And that pissed off a lot of people too. I don't know if you remember that.
I didn't until I watched that video. I'd completely forgotten about why that would have pissed people off. And then I was like, right, I did sleep with a lot of women in that game.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, this guy, I want to have his babies. When you could only sleep with women if you wanted to, based on your choices before that. And you don't get a choice. You don't get to say if you do or don't.
Yeah, I think I was more upset about that, the lack of choice.
The reason for that is because Darius and them are the ancestor of the guy from the previous game, the Egyptian guy.
Yeah.
So like Kassandra is part of that bloodline, and that's part of why he is so powerful. But I was like, I don't care. Like I was really mad that she had a baby. I was like, I would never have a baby with this loser. This guy sucks.
was such a loser.
I was so glad when he died. I was like,
that was, you know what? Now that you say that, I think that's what I was, not that it happened, but who it happened with.
Yeah. Kassandra would never have a kid with that guy.
Why couldn't it have been somebody cool?
Right.
There's so many cool people in this game.
Yeah.
That it was just like this lame-o. Whatever.
He sucked. And I was glad when he died.
Yeah.
But so that DLC, I don't know, to me, that DLC was as bad as the Atlantis DLC was good, but I definitely played the whole thing. They kidnapped my baby. I had to go get that. That was what I was really pissed off about. Then it was like, you kidnapped the baby on top of it. and I had to get
I mean,
the baby back.
I get, kidnapped child is a compelling story. But, yeah, no, that guy sucked.
Kassandra would kill them just for the love of the game, though. Like, she didn't need the baby. Like, she just would have done it to be like, oh, you want to kill me? I'll kill you first. Yeah, I liked where the game landed. It's weird to have this character who is the oldest protagonist and turn out to be immortal, and she's never
Like, why
shown
would
up.
they have been, yeah.
Yeah, in
But,
any of the other
that's
stories.
you just kinda gotta go with that when prequels happen, though.
Yeah. She did show up in the Valhalla game.
Mm.
And that was a kind of fun, but all it did for me was underline how much cooler she was than the Viking guy. I was like, man, I would rather Kassandra be in England doing this than the Viking guy.
Can you play as a girl in the Valhalla?
Yes, you can be they don't let you name your character because they have to say it.
Right, yeah.
So you're either Ivor or Ava.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like the male and female version of the name. They did that in the previous game too, where you could be Bayek or Baya. So they usually do that. There's one of them where you're in Victorian London that's really good called Syndicate, and
Oh, that sounds fun.
that one's great. And you can be, they're twins, so it's a boy and a girl, and you can be one or the other. But they're both in it. They're not like, it's not like this game where you're like, you pick one and then the other one is the enemy. They're just like, they're both there for the whole game. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I talked way too much, but I think this game is great. I've always loved it. The music is really, really good.
Mhm.
The main song I really, really love.
I remember nothing.
Oh man, their version of the Assassin's Creed theme is probably my favorite.
Gotcha.
That would play at the beginning, like whenever you start up the game. I would just sit there and listen to that version of it, because every version they do it in the kind of like the style of the culture that you're. So this was like, ancient Greek music and singing styles, like instruments and stuff like that. But I wanted to point out that the music for this game was done by The Flight, who did Lockwood and Co.
Oh, that's interesting.
Isn't that weird?
That
and they also
is weird.
They did Horizon Zero Dawn games, also, both of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they do all kinds of shit. But yeah, I like the music. There's not a ton of music in the game, unfortunately, but that version of the main song is just killer. I really, really love it.
Well, I'm glad I've played at least this one Assassin's Creed game so that we could talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll play another someday. I did just look up Syndicate. It's even cheaper than Odyssey.
It is more traditional Assassin's Creed, where there's not like levels and you can just kill somebody because you're good at the game.
Right. I enjoy getting into like underbelly stuff in Victorian England,
It's great.
Yeah.
You are like the leader of street thugs or like a gang, and then you're like busting up factories that have that are employing children and like sending children back to their mothers. It's so fucking good. Beating the shit out of capitalists in like steampunk, Victorian stuff.
Yeah,
and you
that
have like
great.
a grappling hook. It's really, really good. That game is great. Your base is on a train that's constantly like moving. It's really great.
Love it.
Yeah,
that sounds fun.
Yeah, these games are good. For AAA games, it's not like news to anybody. I think a lot of other games are based on the gameplay in this, where you go up on a tower and then it reveals the map, and then you do the shit that got revealed, and that's like a satisfying loop. And they invented that in Assassin's Creed. It's just a cool world.
Did you play the most recent one, the Japan one?
I'm waiting for it to get cheaper. It's
For the
just
sale.
how I am.
Gotcha.
It is already like significantly cheaper than it was. They also tend to be really buggy when they come out, especially these more open world ones. And so I'm just waiting for it to, have the version that has all the DLC get down to like $20 or something.
Gotcha. Makes
Or
sense.
sometimes they go on Game Pass and I'll just like, there you go. Do it then. But yeah, it's a game that we both played and both liked. I don't know. Did you like it because of the character, like Kassandra?
So it's been a while, like I said. But what I remember is I liked Kassandra, I liked the gameplay, and I liked the satisfaction, of getting the cultists.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I remember really liking. And like I was saying before about how, you find like a base or a castle or something overrun by the bad guys and you got to kill them all and have the good guys move in to take it over. I love that shit.
Oh, yeah, where you're like, advancing the war in the... Yeah. That was cool, too.
I love doing that in Horizon. There's a lot of that in both Horizon games. And, yeah. Whistling to get them all to come meet you outside, snap
I
their
forgot
necks.
about that. Yeah, how you could affect the war, which is a weird idea because it's like the war... I mean, Athens loses, but you could do it where you could box Sparta into a corner pretty hard.
Yeah,
by
I'm
the end of the game.
pretty sure that happens in Odyssey.
Where they lose?
No, sorry, where you're like infiltrating these like castles or bases or buildings or something and taking them over and killing
many
everybody
times
there. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. I was like, maybe I'm, because I've done this a lot in video games, right? So I'm like, maybe I'm smooshing them all together. I don't know.
I forgot that there was a reason to do it. I did it because it was there,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have no idea what the reason was.
The reason was because of the
came
war.
up in my side quests. Let's take it over. Let's get the stuff.
It's like, the Spartans have that fortress, and then you kill everyone, and the Athenians take it over, and it's like,
I feel like the Sparta versus Athens thing was like the least important thing going on in that game.
100%. Yeah.
100%. And I wasn't paying attention to that at all.
Yeah, I liked that they had it in the background. You like just sail your ship around and then you'll see like off in the distance the Spartans and the Athenians crashing their ships into each other. It'd be like, man, it's fucking wild out here.
I have so many like random memories. I'm like, was there like a fancy house that I had to infiltrate one time? I don't know. Is that a different game?
Yeah, there's like party you have to go to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's this one. Yeah.
You have to dress up. Yeah.
But I remember like climbing around and getting to some balcony. I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't go through the front door and all this stuff. Yeah.
I feel like there are a lot of games that had a lot of similar sort of infiltrate-y type missions, and now it's all smooshed in my brain. I don't even know what the other game would have been. I don't. So it's probably all just this one.
Yeah, I love this world, and like I said, the historical museum thing was very cool, and yeah, it was just a great game. I don't know. I haven't played it lately. You hadn't played it lately, but I don't know. We had talked about it previously, and I just always wanted to pick your brain about it afterwards and be like, why did you play this if you don't care about Assassin's Creed? Because for me, it was like, it really like kind of fixed the game before it for me. Like I really was grumpy about Layla and how all of that stuff went. And then this game, by the end of it, like Layla has the staff and she killed some of her assassins. She got kicked out of the assassins and she's kicked out of Abstergo at the end of this game. And I was like, whoa. So that was like a cool evolution of the modern story, I felt like. And so I just liked how it iterated on all of that stuff too. And I'd be like, why would you? But of course you would like it because it's just a great game that you don't have to care about that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, they did a good job making so you didn't have to have played the other games.
Yep.
Like I did feel like I was missing stuff, but it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which is great because it pulls people in, and then if you're like, well, I want to know more about that, then you just play the other games, and you're like,
exactly.
They got you.
So have you played this game or have anything you want to add to this discussion or tell me what Assassin's Creed game I should play to further, I mean, like in April when I'm buying games again.
When you're allowed.
You can reach out to us on Blue Sky at Inferior Gaming. This episode won't be out until April, so it doesn't matter.
There you go.
And you can follow me personally on Blue Sky at Inferior Caitlin.
You can send your emails to inferiorgamingpod@gmail.com, or you can send them to hollowgroundmedia.com, whichever one you prefer. We'll get it either way.
Oh, and remember to always start a series on the 11th game. That's how it should always be done.